I was born and raised in Beirut, Lebanon, to a large Catholic family. And growing up as a child, I thought that Lebanon was heaven. Everything was just perfect. I had three brothers, two sisters, and everything was going just the way, a perfect childhood goes.
On February 14th, 2004, we were blessed with a little girl. We named her Courtney. It was Valentine's Day, so her real name was Rose. At a newborn, she was diagnosed by the doctors as a failure to thrive. And we knew we had a challenge ahead of us.
At the age of 14 is when the civil war started, mainly between Muslims and Christians. That's when we had to grow up really fast. It was basically kill or die, and I'd never seen a gun, a machine gun. I was going to a private Jesuit school, and all of a sudden I had an AK-47 in my hand. My brother had an M16. My dad was cheering us on because we had to protect our mother, our sisters, and so it was like from 14 to 15, it was growing up real fast. I saw things that no child should see. I did things that no kid should do, but it was all under the cover of protecting our families.
She went to CHOP Hospital in Philadelphia, New York Columbia Presbyterian Hospital, and she was diagnosed with a seizure disorder of unknown origin.
During the war, between the Christians and the Muslims, it was basically if you're in the wrong location at the wrong time, in the wrong spot of Beirut, you got kidnapped. My brother was stopped at a barricade, and they saw that he was a Christian. They kidnapped him, and we lost him for about 24 to 36 hours. We had no idea where he was.
There was a time during the 6 years of her life, my wife and I both decided together in agreement to stop. But it only lasted for 30 seconds, and we regathered our thoughts and kept fighting on, kept pressing in, because God gave it to us for a reason, and God would never give us more than we could handle.
So I finished my last year of high school in Lebanon, and it was time to go to college. And all my brothers and sisters had signed up for colleges throughout Europe. And I told my dad, basically, I want to go to college in the U.S.
On December 25th, 2010, we were having a great Christmas morning together as family. But that afternoon, we saw that Courtney was having a tough time, and we decided to bring her to the hospital. They did admit her again. Courtney was in for the week from the 25th of December till January 31st. Doctor said she was getting better, and I was in on rounds that morning, New Year's Eve, and doctor said she is going to be going home. We're going to change a medication or two because we feel this one's not working for her. And that evening, my wife comes into the waiting area and said that Courtney's having an issue.
I was thrilled when I got my acceptance from a bunch of colleges in the U.S., and I decided to go to Michigan. So the next thing was to get the student visa. So I had to make an appointment at the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, where you have to go there, sort of plead your case, bring your paperwork, your bank statements, your letter of recommendations, your college acceptance, and literally have a face-to-face interview with the U.S. Consul. It was April 18, 1983, a beautiful sunny day, clear skies in Beirut. The embassy was right on the Mediterranean, not even 100 yards from the sea. We had to be there at 11 o'clock, because at 11 o'clock they close the doors and they interview everybody that comes in throughout the rest of the day. We were rushing like crazy, we were running late. It was 5 to 11, basically just got in the door before they closed the doors. And then the rest of the people in line would have to come back the next day. So we walk in, and we're sitting with the outside wall of the building to our back. It was like a theater seating, maybe 40, 50 people. And at the end of the room is a bunch of tellers, kind of like a bank teller behind safety glass. And then when your name is called, you basically get up and go, you get interviewed, and that's it. your future is set right then and there.
My wife came into the waiting room and told me that, Courtney's having an issue. And I thought nothing of it, saying that she's, her bitter tongue or something minimal that's happened to her over time.
And I looked to George and I say, hey, that's us. I think we're next, because I see my passport. And that's the last thing I remember saying to George. And then the entire floor of the room just completely exploded. Like I'm looking at a volcano, 6 inches from a volcano. Combination of rocks, dust, red, and everything went quiet. I'm not sure how everything went quiet. It was a huge explosion, but in my mind, everything blacked out.
And I walk into the room, and lo and behold, they're doing CPR on her. And I just turned around and walked out. I said, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I started praying. I made a phone call to my mom, to some friends. Sorry. They were doing CPR on her for over an hour and a half. And the nurses didn't want to stop. The doctors wanted to, discontinue CPR. But the nurses said no, because Courtney's a fighter, and Courtney comes back. It's what she does.
I just started trying to feel my body, and I was trying to remember where I'm at. So I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to remember, and it all came to me, like, oh yeah, I'm at the U.S. Embassy with my friend George, and this is an explosion. So now I'm trying to decide if I'm dead. I'm not hearing anything yet, and all of a sudden I came to the realization that I'm not dead, and sound started to come, and it was like it was just basically people dying. It was like people moaning. And
previously, in 2010, she coded twice, and she came back. And the nurse believed, this is going to happen again. Courtney, come back, it's what you do while applying CPR. And after the hour and a half, the doctor says, we're not helping her, we need to stop this. And we disagreed to do it, but we realized it was the right thing to do. And they stopped CPR. And she went home to be with Jesus.
And that's when the whole thing starts to just really sink in. You see the pictures, you hear the numbers, 63 people dead, 3 people not dead, and you're one of those 3 people. You hear about people who they found their hands a mile away. You hear about a guy who they found in the elevator, just standing up. Weeks later, by the time they got to the elevator shaft. And the days and the weeks after that, you completely messed up.
We sat in her room. We praised Jesus. We cried, praised him, and cried more. We played a song over and over again, one song. It was by Tony Sutherland, I'll Just Worship. And that's what we did. At midnight, 12:15 in the morning, after she was all cleaned up, it looked like she was sleeping in the bed, we kissed her Happy New Year, and we left.
Basically, against all odds, we couldn't find our passport. We went to Cyprus. We got a new passport, and here I am, a young man from Beirut, after being blown up, barely able to speak. I speak English, but not really, and sitting in a calculus class in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and completely messed up. And ever since that time, there was one thing in my head, almost around the clock, It comes and goes, but as long as I'm conscious, what is it that, what am I gonna do? If I didn't die, there was something I need to do. And I had a great run. I graduated from Michigan. I had a great career. I made a lot of money. But it was like none of it, not one of it was an answer to me.
We had a little frame over her bed, and it said, "Let go and let God." And that's what we did. Our faith, thank God, our faith is strong. If it wasn't for our faith, I don't know where we'd be. If I would have turned to drugs, turned to alcohol, suicide, because I think having that foundation of Jesus under us, it helped us get through the time that we had to mourn and our loss of our daughter.
Somewhere around 1999, I was riding high in my career. I had all the money that anybody would have, but I was miserable. That's when I met my wife now, and she started to, in a business relationship, and then she started to try to talk to me about God and Jesus, and I was not really interested in that. I was interested in her, but not in that discussion. And then because of our relationship, and because of the grace of God, I started attending her church, and I met her pastors in Minnesota. And then that's when I got saved and I accepted Jesus. And I got baptized by the Holy Spirit all in one day. And as clear as the day is, almost instantly, the truth came in as if it was a shower. And if God was standing in front of me and said that to me, it would not have been clearer that I was saved on that day because I wasn't saved, so I had to be spared so I can get saved, so I can go to heaven. And all of these things, all of these questions, every one of them, thousands of them, were all answered. It's not about curing cancer. It's not about making millions of dollars. It's not about becoming anybody. It's just about accepting Jesus. And I needed to be spared that day. Otherwise, I wasn't going to make it.
But we know that Courtney's in heaven, dancing with her Father God in fields of grace. She received her miracle. We wanted it here on earth, but she got it in heaven. And we can't ask for anything more. And I've thought once in a while, if God would allow Courtney to come back to us for a moment, and she would say, "Thank you for all you've done for us, but I'm going to stay in heaven." On January 11, 2013, we were blessed with another little girl, and we named her Emily. We have her middle name to be Joy, because sorrow may last for a night, and joy comes in the morning. Sorrow is our daughter Courtney in heaven, and Emily is our joy now, here with us on earth. God restores family.
I've seen Jesus.
And I can truly say, I've seen Jesus.